Hey guys, it's Blink the Cat here, and welcome back to another video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I draw my characters, specifically how I draw in general. Now, even if I do show you how I draw and take it step by step with you, you probably won't get it exactly like me, because, you know, everybody has a different art style, so if you do get it wrong, don't bug me in the comments about it, saying, blah 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 liar blah 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 blah, then you know, look like it because you know, your own art style thing, everybody has their own art, it's just different and complex. So what you want to do first is try and get a perfect circle. Well, not perfect exactly, but a decent circle. Sometimes this can take a few tries, sometimes it can take a little bit. Sometimes I even get it on the first try. Like I said, I've had tons of practice with this, don't hate me. Next, what you want to do is take the bend of the head, where the head exactly bends, and where you want the eyes to be. Specifically this little red line, because then you'll draw the eyes about a little bit under, but a little bit over too. Next, what you want to do is take the base for the neck, take the shoulders down, pose them any way you want. I'm gonna do a peace sign. Actually, yeah, no, I'm gonna do a peace sign. But remember, this is your own art, so, and this is just a rough sketch. And this is just a rough sketch, so if you do get it wrong, that's totally fine. Nothing here has to be proportionate or anything. This is just a basic look of what you want your character to do. Now, if you have a wolf or a cat, I suggest putting where you want the ears on now instead of later. Because, let me tell you, ears and tail are really hard to plan out. Especially if you're doing it just by hand. I suggest this anyways, because ears and tails are really hard to place on the head due to humans not having ears and tails. Yeah, I know. Next, what you want to do is a second rough sketch. Don't worry, this will end up becoming a good part of it soon. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to fill in what you drawed. Try and make it a little bit cleaner, but you can make mistakes. And add the eyes and or hair. Don't worry, you don't have to erase in this because it's not the final product. Just get a basic sketch of where you want things to go. Now, you can do whatever face position you want. You want to create two big circles if you're trying to do my art. But basically what you want to do is you want to try and get the face as nice as possible in this stage for the final sketch. So you want to put the character's emotion in this one. Put a little lump for a nose in the middle of the crossing, and there you go. The face is done. Next, what I'm going to do is the ears, because those are the hardest to always plan out. And remember, proportion. The one that's in the back is going to be smaller than the one that's in the front. Proportion. It's very easy. On this stage, you're actually going to add the clothes, so if your character does have any clothes that are complex, add the basic right now. As in my scarf shawl. That is a complex feature. I always add this on the stage because, you know, it is part of who she is, part of her outfit. And I just wanted to clarify, that doesn't mean I'm a superstar. It's just, I like shawls. Very nice. The feeling of fur is actually really nice. I'm just gonna tell you guys that now. That's mainly why she wears the shawl. Now, at this stage, you can always change the character's, like, position or something, because, realizing it now, I couldn't even put that arm in the first place over there due to proportion. So, this stage is kind of like a fixing stage, how you think things would look nice and neat. Just think of this as the stage where you try and get everything right. That's a very easy task. Now, what I'm going to add next is the hair. My characters always show their part of the hair, which isn't too hard because you just got to make a down line and a line back. Because everybody has a part in their hair, and mine happens to be right there. And so my character does too. Some of my characters have side parts, some of them have middle parts, some of them have left parts, but what you want to remember is the side with the biggest long going has the longer bang. And you don't want to trick the bangs on to infinity because they are bangs. They don't go way far. Unless you have huge hair, that doesn't give you the right for huge bangs, proportion, and realisticness. Now, I have done huge bangs in the past, and it did look horrifying, but it's okay, I guess. Oh, and you want to save too, that's what I just did, don't worry. Because if you're going by layers, you can always erase it. You can always add a layer, trash the layer, because you do need that layer. And then you'll take this layer and lower it. Oh wait, I'm using IPX paint, so if you do want to know what I used to draw, that's what it is. Now what you want to basically start out with is the part of the hair. The hair is a very important feature. It's one of the most important, actually. Because the hair basically posts where everything's gonna go. And you want to go down to whatever hair fluff you have on your character. Mine is usually 2 hair fluffs because my hair is very messy and that's what I do to show it. And then to the other hair part down a little bit. These hair parts are so important because it shows where the bangs are and where you need to start your head. Next you want to draw in the head. And remember, you want nice clean lines on this layer. Unless you're going for a rugged look. You want nice clean lines. You don't really want to show where anything mixed together, so if you see that happening, you want to fix it right now. Now, I don't particularly do the eyes first, mainly because of them being different colors, so that'll happen later on. Now, surprisingly enough, I'm not drawing Blink in this. I am drawing my own OC myself, and I'm trying to show her instead of Blink because Blink is very easy to do. She's a cat, she's red, that's all you need to know. She's not very complex of a character, although her backstory is. What she doesn't make up for in style is backstory. One including a lot of siblings, which is common for cats, but also some very dark stuff, so she's had a horrible childhood. Next, what you want to do is just continue on any part of the clothes you have until you're all finished. Make sure it looks realistic, or at least realistic enough, or however you're trying to do it. It's really hard to get a rubber hose look if you're trying that, mainly because rubber hose is the old style fashion cartoon for you non-artists and just are here to learn. That's what rubber hose is. It's basically the 80s cartoons, you know, like Steamboat Willie and stuff, and Fleischer Studios. Those people basically are rubber hose animations. And if you're trying to go for that, I can't really help you other than give you the tip that don't do it on paper do it on paper first. Because like I said, rubber hose was like all rubber hose animations. It was done by hand. Oh, no. So rubber hose animation is just really hard in general. So if you are trying to do a rubber hose picture, I suggest creating the character out on paper first. Remember, with rubber hose animation, it can be exaggerated as much as you want because it's rubber hose. It's, wacky. It's wacky, it's fun, it's amazing, and sometimes I do rubber hose too because some of my characters are rubber hose. But like I said, you always have to plan it out on paper first. And if you are trying to do a rubber hose character with the look of an actual rubber hose animation, I suggest not drawing with the pen like I do for nice, clean, still lines. Try drawing with the pencil on flip a clip because that actually does look like rubber hose. It's very easy to ruin and over a rubber hose character. Specifically for Bendy and Cuphead fangirls, because those do take place in the time of rubber hose, which seems to be popular right now, but I'm not going to judge the humankind because I probably don't want to get criticism. So, yeah. But just to remind you that rubber hose is very easy to ruin, so if you are doing rubber hose, take precautions, because I hate to see a perfectly good rubber hose and then it being tore down from other people because it doesn't look like rubber hose. So if you are doing rubber hose, please remember that. What you're going to want to do is you're going to keep everything underneath the lining, surprisingly enough, no matter how much you think it should be all in the same layer. So you need at least 4 layers, one for the background, one for the coloring, one for the shading. So what you're going to want to do on layer 2 is you're going to want to take your paint bucket and you're going to take your skin color, mine is very pale, and you're going to basically color in wherever you see skin at. Now with IBX paint I can get into all those nooks and crannies, but with flip a clip you might not be able to. So if you are using something like that, do remember what spots will show up. If you're using a phone, I highly suggest IBX paint. Just because it's so nice. Like, not even joking, it's really nice. So, you do always want to make sure that your character... Oh, shoot. Yeah, you want to make sure that your character has everything there before you start coloring. I, like a dope, forgot my big ear. And forgot... Kids, don't be like me, okay? But basically, since most of her sweater is a blue, and I forgot to put stripes on, we're gonna do that now. Yeah, just try and get everything while you still can in one place, and don't be like me and try and rush it, because it's eventually gonna look bad. Not saying that it'll always look bad, but majority of the time it'll look like you rushed it because people can obviously see that stuff. What? Okay, Liberty, I'm trying to record a video, so if you couldn't say that loud, thank you. You can always add stuff that you think would look nice, like her shawl is white, so I gotta actually paint that white. Yeah, for anything white, you're going to want to paint it now because it does get really hard to do things. Now for the tongue, I always do a light pink, like a super light pink. And then the inside of the mouth a little bit darker because that's what the inside of the mouth looks like. Now for ears and tail, it's important you do both at the same time because they both have the same color and it's just annoying when you don't have that color anymore. So yeah, now you may be asking, this is done, right? Why isn't the video stopped? Well, it's mainly because this isn't done. What you need to do next is shading. Now for shading, I usually go and take my pen, I lower it to about 50, if not lower, and I take it to a black. And now that you're seeing that we're on line 2, you're going to want to go to phase 3. And if you're using flip-a-clip, you can always combine these. And just color it in. Now, it may look too still for you. Don't worry, a step's coming up later after you're done shading to help with that. So keep that in mind. If you accidentally made your shading too big, don't worry, there's an undo button. It's really easy to do. Don't try and overdo with shading, aka in places where it doesn't belong. Where places fall flat, that's mainly where you're going to want to see it. Sometimes at the end of your head, there's shading because, it's your head. Now, shading isn't really a good thing. It's hard to learn, basically. Thankfully, I took a 6th grade art class that taught us with shading, and that's where I get my shading ability from. But if this is your first time, try not to overdo it like I do, because it ends up looking really bad. And if you think it looks too stiff and not blended in right now, that's okay, we're going to do something with that later. Now, for the neck, you can see I'm layering up shading and just kind of going along with it until it fades into a black. That just helps me take realism into the neck. If you want to do that, you can. Go ahead, be my guest. It's not hard to do, and it actually ends up looking really nice. Now, for moments like this when the things clash, you want to take extra precaution on it. And if you don't get a right line in shading, it ends up looking really bad. Sometimes you can do this in full black and then just go on from there. But sometimes you can't, and it's really hard to do your shading then. Now, I suggest trying to go over layers. It doesn't matter if the shading is ruggedy, because it is shading. It's supposed to be ruggedy. It's shade. So, don't worry about it too much if it's unproportionate or something, because that's totally fine. Now, if your character has a big shawl like mine on the clothing, of course you can add shading underneath it, because it's a shawl. That's what it's there for. And at the ending of my pictures where it cuts off, I like to put a little bit of shading, because it cuts off there. I want personality to still be in my character when it cuts off. So, just to make it look a little bit nicer, I always put shading there. Now, remember, shading isn't a necessary step to draw like me, but it is a necessary step if you want to color like me. And it's probably, if you want to be an artist, your best bet to learn shading, because realism is everything in the art world. Unless, of course, you're a toony artist, which, good luck there, because a lot of cartoons are now going for realism. So if you are planning to be a professional artist, realism is all I can say. You want realism. It helps a lot. Now, some of you are looking at the scale and thinking, I don't want this. What you're going to want to do on IBX Paint is, I can't help you if you're on flip-a-clip, but if you're on IBX Paint, you can see this little water drop thing. Don't go for the finger. It messes up everything. What you're going to want to do is not have it that big. But a little bit smaller, and just mix it in there until you see it fade with the color. Now, see, doesn't that look a lot better? Sorry, flip-a-clip users, I can't help you here. Now, you can do this to every single one. This helps a lot with the realism thing, because it does blend with the colors. Now, I usually start from the top where my HUD is, because that usually bugs me a lot. But for you guys, I'm going to start from the bottom down, just to give you the look of what happens. Now, don't worry, if you don't get part of it, you can always go back. And for the neck, it's actually really nice to see it fade into a black. Now, this is some of the most satisfying stuff I do with my pictures, like just seeing the water go all the way down and back. And all the way back and down. It's really nice. It's very satisfying for some reason. But people don't question satisfying things, so I'm not gonna either. Now, if you do have a piece that goes underneath the eye like this, you want to try and think where the stuff is going underneath their eye, because of course if somebody takes the color off and the line art off, they're going to see that that actually does look really bad. Now this piece is bugging me, so I'm going to blend it in as much as I can. If it doesn't really look there, but you still want it there, you can blend it in as much as you can. This part is a little boring, and your arm might start to hurt by this time. This is the time where I usually cut out and just start watching YouTube for a little bit. So you can go do that. I will continue on. The puzzle video right now, if you want a break, you don't have to follow with me, but you can. Next piece is dyed hair, so yeah, let's get started. You will always try and find the color of the hair that you want. My tips are usually yellow, even though they're not yellow in real life. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to layer it until it gets to that actual color. Now sometimes it gets to that color real quickly, so you can still build it up inside, and you can see a little bit of a difference. And don't worry if you don't really see the difference anymore, it's fine. You're fine. You can always build it up like this. Start from the bottom, go to the top, always layer it, just to see where you're going to be at. I sometimes do this. Now as you can see, we have kind of a floral pattern here. And that's not going to stay long because we're going to take our water tool and we're going to blend it into the hair. As you can see, it looks like hair dye now. Blending from the brown into the yellow, and it eventually looks really nice. It's a nice little tip to give your character. Now, sometimes dyed hair can give your character life and a nice thing to look at, and sometimes bring attention to the face like mine does. You'll see the yellow and then you'll see the green eyes, and then it'll bring you into the face. That's some of the most important things you want to do. But sometimes you can overdo it with color. That's when you need to stop a little bit. You don't want to overdo it with color because then your eyes won't know where to focus on. How you know you overdone it with color is you'll look at your picture, and if it doesn't drag you towards the face, you did something wrong. So sometimes your clothes can be super complex and bright, but even if you look at it, you're still going to be dragged towards the face. Mainly why my characters always drag you towards the face is for Blink. She has two giant dots over her eyes, the red dips of her hair. Now for my character, it's because the huge green eyes. Those always bring life to the character. Now, only sometimes do I do this, but you can do this whenever you would like. You can take your brush, and you're going to have to do this on the line art stage, because your eyes are there, and you're going to want to make them white. You're going to want to go to your line art stage, and you can put some eye shine in there. Now, if you don't like the still eye shine look like I do, or you just don't like the eye shine look at all, you don't have to do it. But if you don't like the still eye shine look like I do, you don't have to do the still look, because there is a answer to that. Of course, it's your water brush. Now, these things always do come in handy. They'll blend it in a little bit. If you do, like, high quality pictures in your eyes, like super detailed hearts and stuff, I wouldn't recommend doing this. I would recommend the still look. But it always helps a little bit. Always brings a little bit of life to your character's eyes, and if your character actually falls in love, I have a few tips to showing that. Expression is what you'll probably want in your picture. As you can see, looking at this, you're like, oh, she's super happy and, like, energetic and stuff, because the shines in her eyes, her huge open mouth, and the look of her just standing there staring. Now, what you're going to want to do next is go to your first layer. All other layers you want to claim invisible because this is going to get hard. Now, I usually start off with the base color. Not of white. That's silly me. A base color. And then you can do different color things with this. You can take white and you can do strands. You can take different and darker colors and do strands, which is what I'm going to do for this picture. You can do dark clouds and stuff like sometimes like I do. You can put words, you can put sayings, you can do basically whatever you want in the background. It doesn't have to be stylish, it could be just a plain background, it can be whatever you think would look good. It doesn't have to be super complex, it doesn't have to have multiple colors. It doesn't have to do any of that. It just kinda can be there. Now with the background, you could take full artistic liberty with it. Because it's a background, it's supposed to be wonky, it doesn't draw much attention. That's what you don't want to do, is have it drag all the attention. Now in this case, I'm making it super bright because I'm putting white strands all up between it. So you won't really see it in the first place. Oh no, that's mad. And once you put your character's colors back over, you will see it doesn't really drag too much attention because your character is the main focus. So that's how I draw it. I hope you guys had a good day. And remember Boop, because you guys are awesome. You're all awesome. And if we can get to 10 subscribers by the next video, I would probably scream out loud because, oh my gosh, if you guys could do that. I didn't even know I could get to 7 subscribers in the first place. So all 7 of you guys, hi. Some of you guys are my family, some of you guys aren't. Some of you guys came from Amino. Yay! Oh, and if you want to see more of my art, you can go check out Furry Amino. It's where I usually post. I go by the name Blink the Cat, and you will of course find Blink there. You'll probably see the picture where, of Blink with angel wings and a halo looking up at a night sky. That's currently what it is. So, yeah, go there if you really do want to, take, pictures of Blink and find my art. I'll see you guys later. Boop. And good